Today from Detroit, the Red Sox make their first road trip of the new season, facing the tough Tigers in Game 1 of a 4-game series, with Stephen Wright getting his first start. Red Sox hoping to open up the new campaign at 3-0. Hi, everybody. It's opening day here at home for the Detroit Tigers. I'm Dave O'Brien, delighted to be joined by Red Sox Hall of Famer Jerry Remy. Garen Austin joining us in just a moment. And, Jerry, with the rainout yesterday, John Farrell has decided to shuffle his rotation a little bit. Eddie Rodriguez was to pitch today. He's going to go tomorrow with Wright on the hill this afternoon.
Yeah, they wanted to break up the left-handers and get the knuckleball pitcher in there and Stephen Wright between those guys. So that's why he's going today. And he had a breakout season last year for the Red Sox, as you can see. Prior to the All-Star break, the 10-5 record, 2.68 ERA. Opponents only hitting 225 against him. But then came the injury, diving back into second base out against the Dodgers. And the second half of the season was pretty much lost for him. Now, he came to spring training, terrific in spring training, earned a spot in the rotation. The only concern that John Farrell has today with Stephen Wright is it's very windy here in Detroit, and he doesn't know how that knuckleball is going to react to the conditions here at the ballpark. But hopefully it's dancing, it's catchable, and unhittable.
Well, an all-star a year ago, he is set to face Miguel Cabrera and a powerful Detroit Tiger lineup in their home opener on a cold day here in Motown. Pitch coming up in just a moment from Detroit. Michael Fulmer, the right hand of the Tigers, about to deal the first pitch of the day to Brock Holt, who is in there as the DH. And it's in there for strike one. We are underway. Fulmer last year 11-7 with a 3.06 ERA in his rookie season and won the American League Rookie of the Year. And the Red Sox today, Jerry, no Mookie Betts, no Xander Bogaerts, no Hanley Ramirez.
Oh, it's amazing the lineup the Red Sox have to put out there today with all the missing pieces.
That flu bug has taken a real bite out of the club, and also some family issues for a couple of players, Xander among them. But with those three guys out, that's 313 RBIs from last season missing. So it'll be a different sort of attack today against these Detroit Tigers. Sox coming in at 2-0, and Detroit 1-1. And that'll be in tight for a ball.
See Fulmer with a pretty good fastball there at 96 miles an hour. Also throws a curveball and a very good changeup. Faced the Red Sox a couple of times last year. 0-1 against Boston.
2-2. Brock has enjoyed hitting in this ballpark. He's hit safely in all 7 games he has played with an at-bat at Comerica, hitting .364. It's a pretty day. Lots of sunshine. And that wind is definitely going to be a factor. 3-2. Big crowd here. Pudge Rodriguez, the newly selected Hall of Famer, tossed out the ceremonial first pitch. Caught a bunch of years for the Tigers. 3-2. And he tied him up, got him for strike 3. Red Sox lineup is brought to you by Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. Dustin Pedroia coming up next, then Andrew Benintendi, Mitch Moreland and Chris Young, Jackie Bradley in center. The hero of 2 nights ago, Sandy Leon, doing the catching, Pablo Sandoval at third base, and Marco Hernandez has just been promoted because of the depleted Red Sox roster, and he's his shortstop today after a really fine spring. And the starting pitcher, as mentioned, Fulmer, 24 years old, 6'3", about 210, and throws hard. He's in the mid to upper 90s, and Pedroia fouls it away.
Very impressive what we saw from him last year against the Red Sox. Even though he did not beat him, his stuff is real good.
Dustin off to 2-for-8 start. And has driven in 1 run. I'll tell you what, the glare off the grass when it's sunny like this is something else here in Detroit.
Yeah, it's one of the tougher day ballparks in all of baseball.
Fulmer with a 1-2. Did he hold up? The appeal, he did. Jerry Lane said no swing.
And the Red Sox and Tigers better get used to it, because there'll be 4-day games in this series here in Detroit. No question right there that Pedroia did hold up the barrel of the bat.
Benintendi on deck. Every game set to start at about 1:10. All 4 games. 2-2 coming. 2 down.
Now the Tigers defense is brought to you by DraftKings, and it's going to be Nick Castellanos at third base, Jose Iglesias the shortstop, Ian Kinsler at second, Miguel Cabrera the first baseman, left to right Justin Upton, Jacoby Jones, and Tyler Collins, and very good defensive catcher James McCann behind the plate.
Benintendi 2 for 9 with a home run and 3 runs batted in so far. He scalds that one. That's going to be a foul ball down the line. Hit very sharply. He has very fond memories of this ballpark. At his first career home run here last August, he tripled in the same game to join Dwight Evans and Rico Petrocelli as the only Red Sox ever to record their first triple and home run in the same game. A Ball and a strike on Benintendi.
Kind of figures too, Dave, doesn't it? You know, you see two guys strike out to start off the game. So what does Benintendi do? He swings at the first pitch and wraps it foul.
And it was close, 1-1. A ball to make it 2-1. Moreland on deck. And Fulmer fires and made him dance a bit.
Very spacious here in Detroit, especially out in that to center field area. Very, very deep to center field. A lot of extra base hits in this ballpark.
420 to straightaway center. 3-1. And he walked him. So Benintendi is on. First Red Sox base runner today. Here are the umpires now. They're brought to you by Toyota's website for deals. Buyatoyota.com. Mike Estabrook behind the plate. Jerry in the slow lane at first. Scott Barry at second, and Dan Bellino at third. And we're available. This telecast can be earned in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by Toyota. Visit Compra2Toyota.com to see Toyota deals not seen on TV.
Buenas tardes, amigos.
Man on for Moreland, looking for his first hit of the season. He's 0 for 9, and he has struck out 5 times. And now McCann wants a word because Fulmer suddenly has lost the plate. Gives us a chance to glance at the weather. Brought to you by Benjamin Moore. Paint like no other. 42. Won't get much higher than that today, although a lot of sunshine.
I guess they say as the weekend goes on, it's supposed to get up around 70 degrees, so that would be awfully nice for baseball.
Yeah, seeing like close to 60 tomorrow. The day after that in the 70s. They actually got snow here last night. And missed again. 2-0.
Big shift put on the right side for Mitch Moreland. We've seen every team do that. The Pirates did that obviously against him. We saw it all through spring training. Castellanos in the outfield between Kinsler and Cabrera.
Benintendi on at first, not running. See that fastball at 95. He's got the four-seamer, slider, really good changeup. And something that James McCann encouraged him to throw a lot more last season, and it became a very effective pitch for Fulmer. Chris Young is in right field again today. Mookie Betts still battling that flu and unable to go for the Red Sox. Here comes the 2-1. Now another hitter's count. Moreland looking for that first hit.
That'll be interesting to see how John Farrell plays this offense, you know, with so many key members out of it. Do we play more aggressively? Do we try to steal some bases? 3-1 count here. Benintendi getting his lead off first base.
Here goes Benintendi. And a high pop up into right field. Coming on Collins. And that'll do it. Red Sox get a base runner, strand him, and the Tigers are coming up. It's brought to you by New England Chevy dealers. Ian Kinsler leads it off. Castellanos at third base. Cabrera at first. Victor Martinez, the DH. Justin Upton in left field. Tyler Collins in right. McCann does the catching. The youngster Jacoby Jones in center. Jose Iglesias, the shortstop. Former Red Sox batting ninth up against the starter. Presented by New England Audi dealers. Stephen Wright, 13-6 last year. 3.33 ERA and an all-star appearance.
He's had some trouble against the Tigers. 2 starts in his career against Detroit. 0-1 with an ERA of 10. And as we talked about earlier, concern about the wind today. We'll see how that knuckleball dances in the windy conditions.
What has your experience playing behind knuckleball guys and watching Wake all those years been as far as windy days? Obviously, it depends on which direction it's blowing. That one's up the middle for a clean single for Kinsler to get the Tigers started.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they'll have Pablo Sandoval at third base, Marco Hernandez the shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second, Mitch Moreland the first baseman, left to right Andrew Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr., Chris Young, and doing the catching Sandy Leone. Now, to answer your question, Dave, you know, I always felt that with the wind blowing in the direction it is now, which is out, it gave Wright an advantage. It would dance more. The problem is it danced too much. I remember talking to Tim Wakefield. He loved domes.
Castellanos coming off a really nice year as the third baseman, 285 with 18 home runs. This is a lineup that should produce a lot of power here in Detroit. Especially that man on deck, Cabrera. So Kinsler with a base hit. For Steven, until he was shut down at the end of last season, he was one of the Sox most valuable pitchers. A lot of quality starts. He was especially good on the road, where he led the American League with an ERA of 2.09 away from Fenway. So another good reason for John Farrell to elect to start him today. This is a lineup that will give you a lot of nightmares. 2 balls, 1 strike on Castellanos.
I agree. Very strong offensively, the Detroit Tigers. And this was a team that was supposed to be broken up in the offseason, but their payroll was so high, they had a lot of trouble getting rid of guys. So they've basically come back with the same group. Take one more crack at it.
It's an older team, so that's a factor. That's high and tight. 3-1. Who was it the other day we had on the board at Fenway who threw a knuckleball at 109 miles an hour?
Yeah, we won't see that today.
That was a misprint. The 3-1 to Castellanos. And he slices it foul. A packed house here for the home opener, which is rather surprising given the fact that it felt like every time you and I tried to take a turn around the ballpark this morning, it was blocked off. But they found a way to get here. Three and 2 on Castellanos. Kinsler takes off, and it is ball 4. So the first 2 have reached. Not a great start for Steven, and he looks a little frustrated at himself because Cabrera and Victor Martinez are coming up next.
And it's just as we talked about, you know, walking about it here in the first inning. And, you know, for a knuckleball pitcher, Stephen Wright generally does not walk a lot of guys. But we'll see as the game continues and moves forward whether that wind does have an effect. It appears to very, very early.
So here's Miguel Cabrera, his first home at bat of the season. Count off 316, 38 homers, 108 runs batted in. No fall off at all for Cabrera. Another one that missed badly.
I would imagine, Dave, and I've never featured a knuckleball, obviously, but in cold conditions like this, I can't imagine where it's easy to get a grip. A lot of pitchers, conventional style pitchers, say they have trouble with the breaking ball, throwing curveballs and sliders in the cold conditions. And it is cold.
Cabrera without a hit on the season. He's 0 for 6. That should be of concern too, because he's due to break out. He's going to be 34 in a couple of weeks. Now with over 2,500 career hits, 446 home runs. There's 2 men on the bases. And that'll miss. Ball 3. So one more like that, and they're going to be all loaded up for Victor Martinez. Who can still swing it.
Yeah, Cabrera in his career 1 for 2 against Stephen Wright with a home run.
And the 3-0 in there for a strike. Tigers 86 and 75 last year. Here's the 3-1. Foul tip to make it 3-2.
This will be interesting with Cabrera at the plate. See if they send those runners at first and second. Kinsler at second base, Castellanos at first base. Will they run here on the 3-2 count?
Payoff pitch, runners hold, and a high pop foul. Young giving chase onto the warning track, lunges. He made a nice play. Kinsler will tag, and he is safely into third base. Leaping catch by Young for the first out of the inning.
That gives you an idea how difficult the breeze is today, because Young had a lot of room in foul territory, but he almost overruns it. As the wind picks it, it tries to push it back over his head, but he makes a nice play. Good tag by Kinsler at second base to get the third. If the Red Sox could get a double play here and get out of this mess early, that would be a huge help for him.
Kinsler picking up 90 feet, so he's at third base. Castellanos holding at first. And here's Victor Martinez, former Red Sox hitter. 289 last year, 27 homers, 86 RBIs. So now at 38 years old, he still makes terrific contact. He's in his 6th year with the Tigers since the Red Sox dealt him here in 09. First pitch, a strike. To Wright getting ahead on the knuckleball on Victor.
See Sandoval playing well off that line. That means Kinsler at third base can really get down the line, and any kind of bobble by Leone on a pitch, he's got a real good chance to score.
One down in the 0-1.
Those are the little things you have to take advantage of when you get that much room to take a lead. Get extra steps. See where Pablo is and where Kinsler is. He can come down that line even more than that, and he will.
Wright's 1-1. Fly ball into left field. That'll get it done. Benintendi with a catch. Kinsler will tag as the throw comes to second base. Victor Martinez drives in the run to make it 1-0 Tigers here in the first inning. It's a sac fly and an RBI for Martinez, who drove an 86 last year.
Now you call that situational hitting by Martinez. Instead of a ground ball, he's trying to lift the ball, get the ball in the air, and get at least that run home. He doesn't want to hit into a double play, so trying to get something in the air to let Kinsler tag and score.
Here's Justin Upton in left field today for Detroit. 246 last year. He can be dangerous. 31 home runs. Part of a lineup with Sock up and down, and J.D. Martinez is out of their lineup with a foot injury. He's another guy who can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah, a lot of Upton's home runs last year came in bunches.
Two down and a time asked for. It was a hot dog wrapper, I believe, or a napkin floating in front of the home plate area. And the reason for the timeout by Upton. Knuckleball can be tough enough to hit without that. Castellanos on at first, 2 down. The 1-0 to Justin Upton. He would not chase it. Wright got off to a great start last April. He had a 137 earned run average. And he tossed a complete game at Yankee Stadium on May 8th. Another one on the 18th at Kansas City, where he actually took a loss. So as Jerry mentioned, his first half exceptional, getting him to the All-Star game appearance. Second half, the injury. Pinch ran for David Ortiz on August 7th at Dodger Stadium. He dove back to second base on a pickoff attempt, and he jammed his shoulder. And he was not the same after that. Missing there to make it 3-1. This inning's been a struggle.
Really has. He's having a tough time controlling the knuckleball for a strike in this at bat. He went to the curveball on the 2-0 count. See if he goes back to that or a fastball here on the 3-1 count.
3-1. Well, he went for the downs there and came up empty.
And he stayed with the knuckleball, and it was a good one that time. It started high, dropped low.
Pitchers again allowed to blow on their hand on the mound. The runner to go. He takes off, and he walked another one. So he's walked 2 in this inning. Upton taking inside for ball 4. Now back to that injury with that strained shoulder. That was the official diagnosis. He did make a couple of starts after this play, but was really never the same guy. Well, you never want to see a pitcher running and diving back to a bag.
And it happens a lot in the National League. You run out of players, and so you have pitchers go in as pinch runners.
First and second, and Wright's going to face at least 6 men here in the first inning. As Tyler Collins bats, .235, 4 homers, 15 runs batted in, limited duty last year. Him in right field today. Castellanos at second and Upton on at first. 2-0.
Now this is a little bit what John Farrell talked about this morning. I mean, there is definitely a struggle out there for Wright to control that knuckleball here in the first inning.
Whereas last year when he's cooking in that first half, he had a lot of fast innings. That's a strike.
Goes to the fastball that time on the 2-0 count to pick up the strike.
Tigers on top 1-0 here in the first. He drops that one in there for a called strike. It's 71, 2-2. James McCann on deck for Detroit. Wright trying to get out of the inning without any more damage. Did he go? He did. That is strike 3. Bellino rings him up at third, and Wright gets out of it. He allows the 1 run, and the Tigers are on top after 1. Working fans, their outwork, outroot collaboration combines Carhartt's signature workwear with 47's premium Red Sox gear. Available in store at Fenway and online at 47brand.com. All things considered, that could have been a lot worse for Stephen Wright.
Yeah, Red Sox and Stephen Wright very fortunate to get out of there down only 1-0 after the first inning, because he was all over the place with that knuckleball.
Gave up one hit, walked two, fell behind in a ton of counts, but gave up the one. So on to the second. Young to start things off. Chris back in right field today for an ailing Mookie Betts hit by that flu bug. This is a major story for the Red Sox.
Yeah, this all started in spring training and continues.
Check to swing. Chris 0 for 3 on the season. He'll be followed by Jackie Bradley and Sandy Leon. You've been part of clubs that have been hit by illness before, and I've covered teams where it's happened, but I'm not quite so sure it's been as many guys at one time. And the Red Sox have 2 players right now on the bereavement list, which is 3 days.
I agree with you, Dave. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this.
Pop to right, plenty of time for Collins. 1 man away for the Red Sox in the second inning.
And the Red Sox, you know, to their credit, I mean, they're taking all the precautions they can possibly take. But, you know, when you've got 25 guys and training staffs and strength and conditioning people all gathered in the same clubhouse and flying on the same planes, I mean, it spreads very, very quickly.
Robbie Ross got it so bad, he's on the 10-day disabled list. Jackie Bradley steps in, 3 for 7 with a triple so far this season. 1-0 Tigers in the second inning. Jackie singled twice on Wednesday. Hits that one hard but foul off the line. Farmer raced over to cover first base. Had it been fair, so he takes the slow walk back to the hill. Dave Dombrowski acquired him here in Detroit. Got Michael Fulmer in a deal from the New York Mets in the 11th hour at the trade deadline, sending Yoenis Cespedes to the Mets. And I mean, it came down to like the last 60 seconds before midnight on the trade deadline before the Mets called and made that trade. That's across for a strike, but Tigers wound up with a really, really good player, a really good pitcher.
Yeah, we just saw one of his best pitches, the changeup. Fish one he's thrown today and gets it over for a strike.
Inside on Jackie, 2-2. McGarren will have a report in just a moment on this flu bug and the problems the Red Sox are having early in the season despite the 2-0 start. (2-2) to JBJ. High fly left center field on the move. Here's Jones, a long run. He made the play and slides to the warning track. Jackie hit it a long way because there's a lot of space out there.
Now, we talked about it in the first inning, how spacious this ballpark is, and Jacoby Jones tracks this ball down. Now look where he's playing, slightly to pull. He gets a great jump, goes right to the right direction, and takes extra bases away. A lot of room out there to roam around. You need speed in center field, certainly here at Comerica Park.
2 down for Sandy Leon. Sandy certainly the big star on Wednesday night with the walk-off home run. That jam there, and he's going to roll this one to the right side for a fast out. That'll do it for the Red Sox. They go 1-2-3 in the second. Light. And today is Red Sox legend and Hall of Famer Bobby Doerr's 99th birthday. Happy birthday, Bobby. Career notes. He served in the United States Army in 1945, 9-time All-Star, and inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in 1986. Bobby Doerr, 99 years young today.
And what a gentleman. Happy birthday, Bobby, the greatest second baseman in Red Sox history.
And an avid watcher of Jerry Remy. And that's the truth.
He watches a lot of Red Sox games. There's no question about that.
Well, Wright trying to get back on track here. First inning was rough, a single, 2 walks, and gave up a run. He did have to face 6 batters for Detroit. Now he gets the bottom third of the order: McCann, Jones, and Iglesias. McCann last year, 221 with 12 home runs. It's a fine defensive catcher. Slap to third, backing up Sandoval. Plenty of time. He sailed the throw a bit, but he got him. 1 man out. It's a Tiger team that figures to be a very good pitching team as well, with Verlander. It's off to a great start as their ace. He finished second to Rick Porcello in Cy Young voting last year. You got Fulmer today. Jordan Zimmerman's a 2-time All-Star. So 1, 2, 3, they're going to be good.
They're going to be good in the starting rotation. There's some question about the bullpen on how that's going to work out. They still got Francisco Rodriguez as the closer here.
Jacoby Jones, the center fielder, made a nice running catch a moment ago. Flicks a foul. Not many people are picking them to do much because of the Cleveland Indians. A lot of folks think the Tigers once again will be playing for second place in their division. They're kind of caught in a transition phase. Up the middle, dive by Pedroia, but a base hit. So Jones is on with a second single of the day for the Tigers.
It's a little example right there by Jones on how to run the bases. You know, he gets himself a base hit, but he's thinking about 2 bases in case there's a bobble. He's going hard all the way down that first base line, and watch the way he rounds the bag. Jackie Bradley Jr. makes the play, but he's always thinking if there's a bobble, and I've got a chance to go to second base. That's the proper way for young players to run the bases. Make you stop.
That brings up the 9-hitter, the former Red Sox shortstop Jose Iglesias. He batted .255 last year, 4 home runs, and was one of the finalists for the Gold Glove at shortstop. He did not win it. Was an All-Star 2 years ago. Leon came up but did not throw.
See here if the Tigers get aggressive, working toward the bottom of the lineup. Contact guy up in Iglesias. Has some speed at first base, and Jones.
Iglesias, in fact, led baseball with a career-high 91% contact rate. Runner goes. And driven foul off to the right.
That's, we kind of expected that. And it does appear to be a hit and run. You know, the runner did take off at first base, had a good jump, and they guessed right. You know, they had Pedroia covering second. You could see Iglesias trying to hit that hole between first and second. Watch Pedroia cover the bag. Look at the wide open hole, and he's taking a shot in that direction, but fouls it off. But we did expect some action, and it did happen.
The 1-2 to Iglesias. Taylor made. Pedroia to Hernandez on to first. Double play. Picture perfect. 4-6-3, and Wright gets out of the inning. Brought to you by Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. And by Subaru Retailers of New England. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, and Garen Austin with you from chilly Detroit. It's the Tigers' home opener. They're on top 1-0. Sox will bring up Sandoval. Then Marco Hernandez, who's just been promoted back to the big league club with all the illnesses and a bereavement leave. And then Brock Holtz up against the talented right-hander Michael Fulmer. Pablo 1 for 8 on the season with an RBI. Drove in a game-winning run with an infield hit on opening day for the Sox. Tigers in a pregame ceremony saluted longtime owner, the late Mike Ilitch. Mr. I, as everybody calls him here. They're wearing a patch all season long to honor him. Very, very popular owner. Tried so hard to bring the Tigers a championship, a world championship. That's the flag that they're going to have over the ballpark throughout the season. Everybody loved him, Jerry.
Yeah, a lot of nice comments made by current players, former players who played here in the Tiger organization under Mr. Ilitch.
Justin Verlander said he was like another father to me. The 1-2 and to dance out of the way. Verlander off to a blazing start. We'll see him in this series. And a 2-2 from Fulmer. Again, rattle foul. So that's going to be a heck of a matchup on Monday afternoon at 1:10. Chris Sale against Justin Verlander. Don't be late for that one. Here on Nesson, 4:10 on Monday. 2-2. Floater foul again, and a good at bat here by Sandoval. He's fouling off some tough pitches.
Yeah, sure. The count is 2-2, and when you look at the pitch board, not many of those pitches have been in the strike zone. You know, we know that Sandoval will swing at just about anything. He's been fortunate to foul off some tough pitches that have not been strikes.
Cut on and miss, down to go strike 3. Came right at him at 96 miles an hour. Third strikeout for Fulmer. And let's go downstairs to Garen.
Obi, these illnesses continue to take over the clubhouse, and Hanley Ramirez is the most recent victim, although he is day to day. Now, Robbie Ross Jr. is the only one who has the actual flu, but there are 2 other flu bugs that have been going through the clubhouse since spring training. Now, the team is doing everything they can to prevent them from spreading further. They have sanitized everything in the clubhouse 3 times. Trainers are wearing gloves, and they're using hand wipes on everything. The positive news is that Mookie Betts is feeling better and is expected to rejoin the team later tonight. And guys, Farrell said he's never seen anything this severe, but they'll get through it, and this creates some opportunity for some other guys.
Boy, it's a great point, that last one, Garen, I think. But boy, it's been bizarre to see so many guys affected by it. But it's interesting. The only actual flu, Robbie Ross.
Yeah, you know, they told me that Hanley this morning had a fever of 102 degrees. I mean, that's up there pretty good.
As Garen mentioned, opportunities for guys like Marco Hernandez, who had a really fine spring. 24-year-old just recalled. Red Sox seriously short-handed right now. So Marco gets an opportunity. Last year, he played 40 games with the big league club. He hit .294. He did just fine.
I imagine this is spring training. His setup reminds me a lot of Robinson Cano. Now, I'm not putting him in the same category as the great Robinson Cano, but I mean, at the plate, he just looks like him to me.
Behind the bag, up with it, Cabrera, and he'll outrace Hernandez for the second out. 2 up, 2 down. Brock Holt will be next. Marco actually led the Grapefruit League with 5 triples this spring. That's a good triples park. So 2 gone. Brock Holt is 0 for 1. He struck out to start the day. 255, 7 homers, 34 RBIs last year. He was troubled by a concussion that affected his numbers. He takes ball 1. Tigers with a 1-0 lead here in the 3rd inning. Tuno.
See how the Tigers were playing him there when we had that shot from behind home plate, slightly to the opposite field. As you can see, Jones in center field sliding toward left, basically straight up in the infield.
Toward the hole. Kinsler from a knee, and he is not going to get him. Kinsler won the Gold Glove last year, did well just to get to that ball, and almost squeaked into the outfield behind him. But Brock Holt is on with a base hit.
Yeah, and he was diving to his left, so that gave him an opportunity to get up and make a short throw to first base. I didn't think he was going to be that close, but it ended up being a pretty close play. So nice play by Kinsler, but Brock Holt with a 2-out base hit, get a base runner for the Red Sox. See if they can do something with it. As a second baseman, you can go out to that outfield grass to increase your range, especially if you're going to the left side, because your throw to first base is not going to be a long one.
Dustin Pedroia 0 for 1. He struck out first inning. Red Sox and the Tigers, last 14 games, they have split 7 apiece. Sox have won 5 of their last 8 here at Comerica. That was with Big Papi in the lineup. David really loved to hit here. It's a big boy ballpark, and he hit some absolute monster shots here. He loved right center at Comerica. Kind of tortured the Tigers. Not the only team that he tortured. That's hard hit for a base hit to left. Holt up to second. So Red Sox trying to put something together with 2 down, first and second. And now Benintendi coming up. Now we talked about the triple and the home run that he hit here last year at Comerica. Back on the 21st of August, right down the line. Was in the 6th inning, and his next time up in the 7th, he goes downtown. Not a bad day for the youngster. Five out of 16 with that home run against Detroit. He can do some damage right here. Red Sox are down 1-0 as he looks at a ball. So far, he has not been sweating major league pitching. His 92 major league plate appearances, he's hitting .333.
That's a tough spot right there. Gets that fastball up and in on Benintendi, who was ahead in the count 1-0. Probably chased a pitch that he preferred not to.
One ball, one strike, 2 on, 2 out. Andrew took ball 4 his first time up against Fulmer. That one skips away, and it got him. It hit him, and that's going to load up the bases. So they are all filled up here for Mitch Moreland.
It looked like that might have been a slider that was overthrown by Fulmer and catches the leg or the foot of Benintendi. So that quickly the Red Sox, after 2 quick outs, have the bases loaded with Moreland Now give it a chance to get some runs on the board for the Red Sox.
DraftKings is the destination for one-day fantasy baseball. New players can head to DraftKings and enter the promo code NESSN to play for free. That's NESSN at DraftKings.com.
See how the Tigers play this. They generally shift on Moreland in the infield with the bases loaded and the men in scoring position. They may not shift. They haven't yet.
And going back to the end of last year with Texas, he's 0 for his last 14, so he's due. 0 for 1 today, a fly to right field. Red Sox with a man at every base. Brock Holt at third, Dustin Pedroia at second, and Benintendi now on at first. So decent speed out there too for an extra base hit. Popped up but foul, back out of play. He's been a really good hitter with the bases loaded in his career. 2 grand slams and a .359 average. And has a golden chance to impress his new teammates right here. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. With such a depleted lineup and roster, we just have to find a way to take advantage of a spot like this.
Yeah, you can't miss many opportunities. They may not come too often in a game when you're dealing with key players out of your offense.
Another timeout. Sunny but chilly here in Detroit today. All filled up for Moreland. He was 0 for 10 with the Sox. That one disappeared on him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's just power baseball right there, challenging Mitch Moreland with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Young hoping to hit in the inning. That's up to Moreland. Holt, Pedroia, Benintendi filling the bases here in the 3rd inning. 1-0 Detroit. And 2 down. Foul back.
And notice the location of all these pitches too. They're all above the waist. Every pitcher he's seen so far has been up in the zone. There you can see the 4 pitches thrown so far. They've all been above the belt.
Red Sox with their best chance so far here this afternoon to get on the board. 1-2. And down he goes, strike 3. Moreland fans with the bases loaded. And that's all for the Red Sox. They fail to score. Still terribly early, but looking for that first hit in a Red Sox uniform. Stephen Wright back to work here in the third. 1-0 Detroit. He gets the top of the order. Kinsler, Castellanos, and Cabrera. Kinsler has scored the run. Scored 117 last year. A really good leadoff man. He can also give you a fast lead with the home run.
Yeah, he's been a good player for a long time, and you know, a guy that's got some power, top of the lineup, good defensively.
Hit 28 home runs last season. Drove in 83 again as a leadoff hitter. And a pretty fiery personality. The 1-1. That'll be in there, a strike. Game 2 tomorrow, also at 1:10. Eduardo Rodriguez against Jordan Zimmerman. Punched down the line, but he hooked it. Rick Porcello with his second start of the year coming up on Sunday. And then Monday, as mentioned, Chris Sale against Justin Verlander. One-two got him. So Kinsler hit by the pitch. He is on here to begin the third inning for Detroit.
Tough to tell where this got him, and it looked like right off the back of the shoulder, the left shoulder. And he'll just make his way down to first base. There's nowhere to go, you know, as a hitter, because against a knuckleball pitcher, you wait, you know, to see what it's going to do. And it's just about impossible if it's at you to get out of the way.
Castellanos took a walk in the first inning. So there have been 5 base runners so far against Wright. Got a double play ball in the second after allowing a base hit to Jones. And no clean innings yet for Stephen. Kinsler a threat to run. 1-0.
Now, I wouldn't be at all surprised too that he does try to run. I mean, that's to the nature of anybody that can run when you're facing a knuckleball style pitcher. Is, you know, it's kind of 50-50 whether the catcher's going to be able to handle it or not. So we'll see a lot of guys take off.
Cabrera lurking on deck for Detroit. Backing up for Hernandez to Pedroia, got one on to first. 2 Red Sox with their second double play in as many innings.
Nicely done by Marco Hernandez as he gets a good feed to Pedroia. He's got to go a couple of steps to his right, but the throw is exactly where his second baseman wants it, right about letter high. And that's where Pedroia gets it. He backs off the bag, and of course, the way it is now in baseball, you know, the very little contact around that second base bag, and a lot more time for second basemen to get themselves in proper position to throw.
Well, a relief for Wright. He gets to face Cabrera with the bases empty, which is the best way. Miguel without a hit yet this season. He is 0 for 7. He's flying to right into foul ground. Towards to center field. Bradley back and has the play onto the warning track. He makes the catch, and that retires the side despite a shot by Cabrera. today. Which is the more exciting play? Text 1 for a walk-off home run like the one Sandy hit the other night, or 2 for a game-saving catch? And text your answer to 536-536. You can do that right now. Message and data rates may apply. One message per vote. Visit NESN.com/terms for terms and conditions. That's rocketed to left for a solid base hit by Chris Young. Facing a right-hander today, and he's got himself a sharp single to start the 4th inning.
And the first time in the game the Red Sox have had the leadoff man on. As we start the 4th inning, Young with the hardline drive single to left field.
Red Sox with a 3rd hit against Fulmer. Jackie Bradley 0 for 1. He has fly to center. Just tested on that bullet by Cabrera to center field. And he slams that one down the line, hooking it for the corner, but that's a foul ball. Man, did he hit it hard.
He's had a couple that he's hit hard. Obviously, the one in his first at bat, very deep left center field. And now he hooks the ball on a line. Right there, knows it's going to be in foul territory. Tried to lean it in, but just foul.
Young on at first, nobody out. Red Sox trying to draw even here with the Tigers on top 1-0 in the 4th. High flying to right field, but this one won't carry, and Collins will make the one-handed catch. So 1 away. Sandy Leon coming up. He caught all 12 innings, and he also hit the 3-run walk-off home run on Wednesday against the Pirates. And according to Elias Sports Bureau, he's the first catcher in Red Sox history to hit a walk-off home run in a shutout victory.
Watch that again, and it kind of sways your vote for our poll today, right?
I think that was the idea, yeah.
Yeah, the walk-off home run.
To the right side, Kinsler. On to Iglesias, and they turn 2. That's all for the Sox here in the 4th inning. Still 1-0 Detroit. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, and Garrett Austin from Detroit. That is Hank Greenberg swinging away. And if you're coming here to Detroit to see the Red Sox or just see the Tigers play at Comerica, make sure you take a walk out there and take in those statues because they're terrific.
Yeah, it's a terrific setting here in Detroit. It really is, and very special today, obviously being opening day for the Tigers.
They do a marvelous job on those statues out there in the outfield. On to the last half of the fourth inning. Stephen Wright looking for a fast inning without a base runner. 1-0 Detroit. Victor Martinez drove in that run with a sac fly in the first inning. He'll be followed by Justin Upton and then Tyler Collins. Go back to April 7 of 1986. So 31 years ago today, Dwight Evans hit the first pitch of the season for a home run in the top of the first inning against Detroit and became the first major league player to do so. Jerry, you were there.
Actually, I was home watching that spring.
You were watching that one at home.
Yeah, that spring was the spring that I was finished as a player, and I was sitting at home watching. I believe the home run was against Jack Morris, if I can recall. And of course, in '86, the Red Sox going to the World Series that year.
Good way to start it. With Dewey Evans hitting the first pitch of the season out of the ballpark. Well, Victor Martinez, 27 home runs last year. Still good power, excellent contact. And one of the most professional hitters still in the game, now 38 years old. He's a very popular guy when the Red Sox had him, real popular in the clubhouse. Outstanding leader. And that's going to be dropped in for a called strike. It was one of those deals where after a couple of months after it had been made, you were scratching your head like, why would the Red Sox make a trade like that? He continued to have outstanding years. There were some who thought he was done. That's in there for strike 3. So he'll take a seat, caught looking.
Now that completely fooled him right there, because he was expecting something other than a fastball, and a fastball is what he got. So he got a curveball followed by a fastball to get the out, and I'm being choked by my.
Yeah, mine's like, come on, come on.
I can't slide over that far.
It's getting away. Now, these are a little short.
Hi, everybody.
Great to see you.
Nice to be in Detroit.
Thanks. That's all we need. Up to the battery, took ball 4 the first time up.
I got to get a little more slack on this.
Just give me an extension cord. Those hits are not worth you choking yourself. They're really not. Home opener here for the Tigers, the 1-1. And rolled foul back behind the plate by Upton. Gotta love the old-fashioned lid. The 1-2. Waved at and missed, and down he goes, strike 3. So back-to-back Ks here for Stephen Wright. Stay tuned at the end of this half inning for Unlimited Baseball presented by T-Mobile. TC and Steve Lyons coming your way.
Well, that's back-to-back strikeouts on fastballs for Stephen Wright here in the 4th inning. Good Martinez, curveball followed by a fastball, and a fastball by Upton.
Collins checks his swing. Behind the bag is Sandoval. Long throw. Safe. Collins got up that line. And excuse me, check swing. He did not mean to make contact, and he winds up with a base hit.
The Red Sox may challenge this. John Fowler right now waiting to hear from the clubhouse. There's the backhanded play by Sandoval. Very good speed getting down the line by Collins. And the Red Sox, I think, have decided not to make a challenge on this as they get a better look at it.
Yeah, no challenge. Single all the way for Collins. So the inning gets to James McCann, the number 7 hitter. He's 0 for 1 with a ground ball to third. Detroit in front 1-0.
Need some attention at first base on Collins. He may be trying to steal here with 2 outs to try to get in scoring position.
Throw back to first base, but not in time to get the sliding Collins.
The thing about Red Sox catchers, both Sandy León and Vasquez, they like to throw the ball around, don't they? Love to pick off, tries to pick off guys at first base, second base, third base.
Now, one thing that was evident in spring training, watching Christian Vasquez, the backup catcher, his arm is all the way back.
Yeah, he'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow with Eduardo Rodriguez pitching.
The 1-0 inside and a little high to make it 2-0 on McCann. Eduardo Rodriguez set to go tomorrow against Jordan Zimmerman. Really good pitchers duels throughout this series. That's a strike. You can't questioning that. Thought it was up a bit. 2-1. Collins leading at first base with 2 down. He's running. Here's the throw by León. The tag, and in plenty of time, got him. Sandy's got a couple of guys so far in the early going, and that's it for the Tigers. Still 1-0 Detroit.
Watch the runner at first base. He kind of gave away that he was going to steal by leaning towards second base. Watch the flinch and then the go. He's looking back. It's a habit you really don't like to get into if it's a straight out steal. And León is now 2 for 2 on the year throwing out base stealers, attempted base stealers.
So a nice way for the Sox catching core to get the season off as far as caught stealings. And again, Vasquez to in all likelihood catch tomorrow. So Sandoval will lead things off here in the 5th. Each side with 3 hits. Then it'll be Marco Hernandez and Brock Holt. The Panda 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Not many runs on Wednesday, although the Red Sox won the game. It was the first Red Sox shutout victory of at least 12 innings at Fenway since 1971. Behind the bag, but foul. Red Sox won the game. They get just enough runs. There's no question the offense is missing the presence of Mookie Betts. And today also Xander Bogaerts and Hanley Ramirez for various reasons. Bullet down the line. That's going to be a fair ball. All the way up against the fence. Sandoval heading for second. Collins up and gunning, but won't get him. And it's a leadoff double for Pablo Sandoval.
That's a good job by Sandoval. That was the changeup from Fulmer, and it was pretty good. It was down, and Sandoval goes right down with it. Here's the location of the pitch. See the changeup just go down, but it stays down and in. And that gave Sandoval the opportunity to knock that ball hard down the right field line. So he defeats the shift, picks up the leadoff double here in the 5th inning.
So Sandoval immediately into scoring position for Marco Hernandez.
Hernandez's job now is he's got to get Sandoval to third base, and that's either by bunting him there or by pulling the ball in the infield.
Castellanos is in on the grass at third. Although Hernandez hit the ball sharply to first base his first time up. Marco in 40 games with the Red Sox at .294. Also hit .309 for the Paw Sox. One strike on him, nobody out. Sandoval at second base. And a fly gently hit towards center. Racing in Jones. He'll make the play. Sandoval had to stay put at second base, and so one man is out. Baseball is back at Fenway, and before you know it, the sounds of the Plain Ridge Park Fenway Concert Series will be too. Limited tickets remain for James Taylor and Bonnie Raitt on the 11th of August. Get your tickets now at redsox.com/James Taylor.
And we talked about trying to get Sandoval to third base. That was not a good at bat for Marco Hernandez because Sandoval's still staying there with the little pop up towards center field. So it's a situation where you got to try to pull the ball to advance Pablo, get him to third base with less than 2 outs.
So now Brock Holt. Brock 1 for 2 with a base hit. He's the DH today, getting his first start of the season. Last year he opened up as the Red Sox left fielder on opening day. Got off to a very hot start before that concussion. He continues to be an immensely valuable guy for John Farrell. Fouled off.
Brock Holt, another guy that is still feeling the effects of the bug, as he just returned to the team yesterday to make the flight out here to Detroit.
It's beginning to get to the point, who didn't get it? As Jerry mentioned, some guys have been really hit hard. One out, runner at second. 1-2. Red Sox just said goodbye to the Pittsburgh Pirates, the team that Brock Holt broke into the majors with. But we're going to see him soon enough next Thursday at Fenway Park, which was an off day. It's an off day no longer. Play on at second, thrown into the outfield. Sandoval is going to head back to second base. Jones racing in.
I don't think Pablo realized that ball got into center field. He's going back in the head for a slide to second base. The ball clearly is an overthrow right there, but by the time he gets up and takes a look, you know, Jones did a real good job of charging that ball, and it's probably the wise thing to do by Sandoval. You don't want to be thrown out at third base. You're in scoring position. Don't take the chance.
Yeah, Jacoby Jones, center fielder, actually reacted pretty quickly on that. So no advance despite the overthrow and no error. Pedroia on deck. And the 1-2. Made him move his feet a bit. So again, the rescheduled game from the postponement last night, 2 o'clock next Thursday. So if you're holding tickets for yesterday, a rescheduled game on Thursday. Pirates are going to have to come back to Boston for 1 day. But a mutual off day. Blocked out front of the plate there. Nice job by McCann.
We kind of highlighted McCann a little bit at the beginning of the game, and he's really good back there. He's got a very strong throwing arm. Does a nice job blocking this ball right here. That's a slider in the dirt, and you know, those sliders will come back a little bit toward the catcher, and he doesn't try to catch it, just tries to block it and keep in front of him. Nicely done.
Yeah, that was about perfect. Count 3-2, and now he wants to discuss this with Fulmer. Sandoval led off the inning with a double. One away, now the 3-2 to Brock. And he walks him. So his command has been in and out. Runners at first and second for Dustin Pedroia, who ripped a single his last time up. And Pedroia's 1 for 2. Red Sox are getting some chances. They loaded up the bases in the 3rd inning, but Mitch Moreland struck out to end that threat. Now a single, I should say a double and a walk, and a pair of singles and a hit batsman in the 3rd inning. So there have been chances for the Red Sox to get on the board. And another one right now. Pedroia looking for his 2nd RBI of the young season. And Fulmer's 1-0 pitch. A strike. Right on the corner.
Yeah, a strike, but not one that Dustin wants to swing at right there. That when he's ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. That was borderline up and away from him.
Pedroia last season 201 hits. That called a ball by Mike Estabrook.
That was a gift. This ball looks like it has plenty of the outside corner. I think what fooled the umpire is the catcher wanted the ball inside, had to reach across, and it made it look like it was outside.
2-1 to Cabrera. Slings it into second. That's all they'll get there. The man in the middle. Sandoval down to 3rd, and Pedroia becomes the runner at first base. And now they're 2 down.
Well, pretty nifty footwork at first base by Miguel Cabrera. He's thinking about getting that double play. As you can see him field it, spin, throw to second, but Iglesias knows there's no chance to get the double play, so he just kind of takes a look at that runner at 3rd, see if he's too far off the bag, but he's not and cannot make a throw to 3rd base. A pretty good glove work down there by Cabrera at first base.
Now the Red Sox have been frustrated here this afternoon, unable to get on that board yet. Now they're at 2 down for Benintendi, who's been on base twice, a walk, and he's been hit by a pitch. And he fouls it away for strike 1. One thing that you're seeing with Benintendi is pretty evident. He is not afraid to swing right away, early in the count. If he likes it, he's ripping. First and 3rd with 2 down. 1-0 Detroit, 5th inning. Popped up, back toward the screen and off into the stands. It was in the 5th inning on Monday when Benintendi launched a home run. And man, did he launch it.
Fastball that was up above the belt and out over the plate. And That was against a pretty good breeze, too.
Right now he's in the hole 0-2 to Michael Fulmer. Moreland would be next. .96, but it missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And watch this where the ball wound up in the hoodie. Yeah.
Didn't even know we had a souvenir.
What an effort. A souvenir to take home. 1-2. High fly, gently hit to left. Up into the sun, but Upton makes the play, and the Red Sox continue to be somewhat frustrated here. TC still 1-0 Detroit. Stay right where you are. You're safely quarantined away from the ball club right now. Red Sox trail 1-0 as the Tigers come to bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's McCann, Jones, Iglesias. Wright looking a lot more comfortable in the last inning. So far he has allowed the Tigers only 3 hits. McCann 0 for 1. He is grounded out to third. And a 2-hopper. Hernandez handles that. Been very smooth over there today. Xander Bogaerts out on bereavement leave. So is Matt Barnes. At a time when the Red Sox are hit by that flu bug even worse than they were, it feels like, in spring training.
What's amazing, we talk about it every spring, how quickly rosters change. It has changed very quickly for the Red Sox. 3rd game of the season.
Jones is 1 for 1 with a base hit. The knuckleball is such a baffling pitch. Of course, hitters talk about it all the time, but for the guy throwing it, it is often just as baffling in the way, Jerry, that it can dominate for many innings at a time, and then suddenly the knuckleball pitcher can lose all command of it. And it's disaster for a couple of innings, and then they get it back.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, it's tough on managers too. It really is, because you could see a guy breezing along with the knuckleball, and all of a sudden within 3 or 4 batters, you have nobody loose in the bullpen, and things go south on you. But you're right. As soon as that happens, it can come right back to you. But I know it's tough for managers to manage with a knuckleball pitcher.
And pitching coaches to coach, especially if you're a guy who never threw it or never shared a spot in a rotation with a guy who threw it. That's why having Wake around is such a valuable asset for this guy. That's going to be in there for strike 3. Came back with a hard one at 86 to strike out Jones.
He's done that a few times today where he's really fooled the Tigers with 2 strikes and going to that fastball. He did it to Martinez, to Upton, and now to Jones.
Well, tired of waiting in line to enter Fenway Park with the MLB.com ballpark app? You can use the electronic ticket feature to enter through the mobile ticket fast lane. Stop waiting and download the ballpark app today. Here's Iglesias. He hit into a double play first time up. Yes, life in the fast lane.
That was the Eagles, was it not?
Well done. Got to get you on one of those game shows.
That's probably the only one I would be able to get.
You would name every Beatles song on the second note, maybe the first. Easy.
Well, you and I today were humming one that's not really a popular one, but we had the same thing on our mind. Singing it all the way to Comerica Park.
Oh, man, we were so good. Fly ball to center field. Jackie Bradley, plenty of room back there, makes the catch. Take our word for it. We were really, really good. Thinking about taking that on the road.
It's just another day.
Dun, 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 dun.
Choo-choo.
Back in the cold, but the sunshine here in Detroit. The Tigers have a 1-0 lead as we go to the 6th inning. Red Sox trying to get some offense going against the hard-throwing right-hander Michael Fulmer. And it'll be Moreland, Young, Bradley. Moreland has flied out and struck out. So 0 for 11 with the Red Sox and 6 Ks. Having a little bit of trouble making contact here in the early days.
And they're just challenging him too with a lot of fastballs and a lot of fastballs above the belt.
A 1-1, and he would not offer at that. That was 95, so the velocity remains right where it started for Fulmer.
A different type of fastball that time too, a very hard sinking fastball.
High fly, but not deep into right field. And Collins will make the catch. So Moreland is 0 for 3. Echo Store Technologies donating $50 for every Red Sox hit this month to the Greg Hill Foundation, which is committed to improving the lives of local families affected by tragedy. Learn more at echostore.com. EchoStore Technologies is your data center solutions provider. 1 out in the 6th for Chris Young. He has a base hit. He's also flied out to right. Join us tomorrow at 1:10. Back here in Detroit, Eduardo Rodriguez, his first start of the season, up against the very good right-hander Jordan Zimmerman. Rick Porcello pitching on Sunday, and Chris Sale on Monday against Verlander. And the 1-1 to Young. On deck, Jackie Bradley. Chris Sale as advertised in his first Red Sox appearance. Shortstop challenged Iglesias. Well, for him, that's a routine play. 2 up and 2 down.
Yeah, for a lot of shortstops, that's a difficult play, but so quick as Iglesias with the hands. Quickest pair of hands, the shortstop, you'll see. Once that ball makes contact with his glove, it doesn't take very long to get it out and get to first base. Has to charge the ball, but watch the release from Iglesias. Gone.
Here's Jackie. JBJ today able to fly to center, another to right. He's had some really good swings with nothing to show for it yet. Off of Fulmer. Tigers leading 1-0 in the 6th. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox tickets. Best seats at the lowest prices to all games at Fenway with a 200% guarantee. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. Best defensive shortstop you ever saw?
That's a good question. I'd have to do some thinking about that.
I mean, they've got one on their staff, Omar Vizquel.
Yeah.
Considered, in that conversation. Little floater. There's Kinsler. And the Red Sox go very quietly 1-2-3 against Michael Fulmer here in the 6th inning. Dunkin', because Dunkin' iced coffee is consistently smooth and delicious. Dunkin' Donuts coffee, the #1 coffee in New England. The Boston Red Sox run on Dunkin'. Last half of the 6th inning, still 1-0 Detroit.
And what Stephen Wright has done on a couple of occasions today in situations where he needs a strikeout, he's going to the fastball, gets Victor Martinez on a fastball, and then last inning got Jones. So, you know, a couple of his pitches, his curveball and fastball, a lot of time the curveball's been in the count when he needs a strike, like a 3-1 count, throws a curveball, and then he surprised some people with 2 strikes with that fastball, just catches him looking.
You know, early it was a scuffle for Wright. First inning, first 2 batters reached, a single and a walk. He was kind of all over the place, walked another man, gave up a run. But since that time, he has really settled down. Getting Kinsler here to spin around. Kinsler has reached twice with a single, and he's been hit by a pitch. He won the Gold Glove at second base last year. Dustin Pedroia was one of the finalists. Dustin's won 4 of them. Kinsler made only 9 errors. There is activity in the bullpen here for Detroit now. That is Justin Wilson, a lefty. Even though the Red Sox have not scored against Fulmer. Fly toward the alley, oncoming Bradley. Jackie makes the play, makes it look easy for out number 1. MLB.TV Premium is back, and it's better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
You know, Dave, you asked me the question before, the best shortstop I've ever seen, and you know, I think you might have hit it right out of the chute with Vizquel. I'm trying to think back of a guy that was as flashy and as good and as solid as he was at that position. I remember watching him take ground balls in infield practice and batting practice, and he'd take it with his bare hand, and he made a lot of plays with his bare hand.
That one fouled sharply down the left field line for a strike on Castellanos. In fact, completing a no-hitter, he did that. A one-handed grab, that bare-handed grab. That was one of the cockier things I've ever seen.
Yeah. Now the other guy was just brought to my attention, Ozzie Smith, but I didn't see him play a lot, you know, in the National League. But he was pretty fair too.
Oh. And you talk about dazzling when he was young.
Yeah.
The Wizard, Ozzie Smith's nickname. And he was that with a glove. I couldn't decide between those 2 guys.
I'll take either one of them.
Yes. You do just fine. Castellanos has walked and hit into a double play. And Cabrera is on deck. So far, Wright has kept him at bay. Socked toward the gap. That one's going to fall in. That's going to keep on rolling to the warning track. It got by Bradley. Racing around second, long strides. Castellanos, he's heading for third. He's in there safely.
Well, again, you know, you talk about differences in ballparks, and at Fenway Park, that's probably a double off the wall. In this big ballpark, once it gets in that gap, it's going to be 3 bases. Castellanos on for the second time today. He walked and now gets this big triple with 1 out here in the 3rd inning. He's thinking about 3 right there, too. The play's in front of him. You make your own decision. You don't have to look at the third base coach because you can see what's developing in front of you. Now the infield pulled in for the Red Sox.
With Miguel Cabrera, the batter. He has flied out to right. He has flied out to center. Last time up, a deep shot to Jackie Bradley. One man out. High and tight to make it 2-0.
I think they're going to walk him. They're going to put him at first base and try to set up an inning-ending double play is what they're going to do.
And that's the new rule. You just automatically point and send him up the line. You don't have to throw those pitches. Brand new rule in baseball this year. So you don't have to complete the 4 pitches. So So Cabrera is on. First and third, potential double play. Martinez, though, drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first inning. He has since struck out 0 for 1 officially.
And he'll be looking to do the same thing, keep the ball off the ground. What the Red Sox are hoping for is the ground ball right at one of the middle infielders to get a double play, get out of the inning. What Victor Martinez is trying to do is get the ball in the air and get another run home.
He's such a good situational hitter. Certainly was with the Red Sox, where he was an all-star. 1 out. And a base hit into left field. Here comes Castellanos. He is in to score. And the Tigers now lead it 2-0. And Martinez has driven in both runs today for Detroit.
Yeah, both times going to the opposite field. A fly ball to left field in the first inning, and this time takes a knuckleball, slaps it on the ground by Sandoval, and a 2-0 ball game.
Martinez drove an 86 last year. He picks up Castellanos, who had tripled. Now Justin Upton, who has walked and struck out. He's a home run threat, 31 of them a season ago. 6th inning, 2-0. And across for a strike. Justin Upton, certainly the more successful of the Upton brothers, BJ and Justin. In for a called strike at 75. 0-2. Two-strike pitch, but did not get the call there.
That knuckleball almost dropped into the strike zone and styling out real high. Came down quite a bit, but still just above the top of the strike zone.
Cabrera and Martinez, the veteran hitters, on the bases. Slap to Hernandez, to Pedroia, turning it. Got him on a close play. Another double play. The Red Sox have turned 3, but another run is in to make it 2-0 Tigers. Ace ticket, you'd certainly take this. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. He has walked 3 men. The Tigers are not giving up anything yet to the Red Sox. We're already on to the 7th inning, and they're going to make a pitching change and bring on the left-hander Justin Wilson. Pitched in a lot of games last season for the Tigers, 66 of them, 4-5, and ERA over 4. He'll get the bottom 3 in the Red Sox order: Sandy Leon, Pablo Sandoval, and Marco Hernandez. So the day is done for Fulmer, as he went 6 shutout innings in his season debut, coming off a Rookie of the Year. At times he was in and out with his command, Jerry, but I mean the numbers were very good today.
Yeah, the surprising thing to me is he didn't throw many changeups today. And last year he threw a bunch of changeups in the 2 games we saw against the Red Sox. Basically today it was a fastball and a slider, and a lot of high fastballs.
Leon today 0 for 2. He has grounded to second. He's also hit into a double play. The Panda on deck. The Red Sox have turned 3 double plays today. That is a career high for Stephen Wright. Also matches the most that Tim Wakefield ever got in a single game. Talking about knuckleballs. Stephen would like some offense to support him here this afternoon. Wilson, a former Yankee. Up the middle. Kinsler behind the bag with a catcher running, has time for the first out. Time for a game break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. And here's TC. Tom, thank you very much. We'll see those Pirates soon enough again next Thursday to make up the rainout from yesterday. Here's Sandoval. He has doubled and struck out. He doubled leading off the 5th inning, but the Red Sox never got him in. The Sox also had the bases loaded in the 3rd and could not score. Frustration mounting a little bit with the depleted lineup. You're just tuning in. No Mookie Betts, no Xander Bogaerts, no Hanley Ramirez today. Betts and Ramirez because of the flu, and Xander Bogaerts is away on bereavement leave. Marco Hernandez getting a chance to play today. Just recalled from the minors, is on deck. Popped up to right. Collins has been busy out there. Oh, that one falls in. Sandoval running hard all the way, gets down to second base. The Red Sox get a gift.
Yeah, they sure do. And you know, hate to overdo it, but the breeze, the sun, all factors, and you can see him go back now. The breeze gets a hold of the baseball, and he just I don't know if he got any leather on that at all. Looked like it was going to be a routine out. And if Sandoval sees it drop in, then he's got to put on the little bit more speed to get into second base and get to there standing up. So the Red Sox have had their opportunities in this game, just have not been able to cash in.
It's an E9. And here comes Hernandez for the 3rd time. He is grounded out, fly to center, 0 for 2. So is this the moment the Red Sox finally break through today? They've been shut out, held to 4 hits. Brock Holt, the on-deck hitter. Marco's a strong kid. He can hit the ball a long way. We saw that last year in Baltimore. He'll lay off. Tough pitch right on the edge for a strike.
You know, Dave, when you look at this Red Sox club today, it's almost like a spring training game where they have a road game and they leave some of their starters home and take some of this time. That's the feeling it has because of so many guys missing.
John Farrell pressed into this lineup because of the circumstances. It's bizarre, really, and that one's down low. McCann stopping that one. I think it's been covered over quite a bit because of the fine pitching the Red Sox have been getting. Feels like today it's caught up a bit. Still time to do something about it. 2-0 Detroit here in the 7th. Here comes the shortstop Iglesias, and back into second base safely Sandoval. Hernandez did not hit it hard, and he is 0 for 3. So 2 down. And for every RBI by a Franklin family batting glove member this season, Franklin Sports is donating to the Red Sox Foundation's RBI program to help revitalize baseball and softball in our inner cities. Franklin Sports is a proud partner of the Red Sox Foundation and Major League Baseball. Steve Selski coming up to bat. Kid out of Manhattan Beach, California. So he will bat for Brock Holt with a man at second. Got a chance to talk to Steve. Terrific young man. Has gotten major league time with Cincinnati. Now 27 years old. 6 feet, about 217, and John Farrell wants a right-handed bat. Now right by McCann. That's going to advance the runner Sandoval down to third.
Yeah, McCann had absolutely no chance on that ball. Wilson throwing the ball well away from him. See the ball just bouncing and getting by, and that's going to move up a runner to third base. You know, this kind of game, if you said, well, the Red Sox had only given up 2 runs after 6, you'd say, well, they're going to be in pretty good shape.
So a wild pitch and a 1-0 to Selski. First Red Sox at bat for Steve. And a chance to pick up an RBI here with a runner at third base, but 2 down in the 7th. Facing the left-hander Wilson. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. They got jammed there and flipped that one foul.
Yeah, did him a favor right there, swinging at a pitch that was not a strike, out of the strike zone, up and in.
So his numbers last year in 24 games with Cincinnati, he did hit over 300. And some impressive at bats during spring training as well. That opened some eyes. And the 2-1. Fouled it away. In the Grapefruit League, Steve hit .356 with 4 home runs, slugging percentage of .689. So that will get some attention. Sandoval at third base with 2 down. Red Sox looking for someone to deliver with a man in scoring position. And it's 3-2.
Well, that was a pretty good pitch right there, but it was dropped by McCann behind the plate, and that might have cost him a strike. That ball had a lot of the strike zone.
Sure did. Sandoval reaching on the error all the way to third now, and the 3-2. And he got a piece of that to stay alive. Selski having a long at bat here. Hitting in Brock Holt's spot. Brock went 1 for 2 with a single. Two nothing Detroit. 7th inning. Foul off again. Well, that fastball 97.
And velocity from both pitchers today in the game for the Tigers. Just the opposite on the Red Sox side. Lack of velocity with the knuckleball.
Here's the 3-2. Swung on and missed. Down he goes, strike 3. Now the frustration continues for the Sox. A man stranded at third base. .330 in 2011 and .335 in 2014, and he can still swing the bat. And he has been the man here today. He's been their offense. There hasn't been much of it. Collins, McCann, Jones will square off against Stephen Wright, who allowed a triple to Castellanos in the 6th inning and the RBI single to Victor to double their lead. The Red Sox have had many decent opportunities today. They don't miss WB Mason X Runnings live right after the game. TC and Steve Lyons will break down today's game. You'll hear from Stephen Wright and John Farrell. Whatever, whenever, wherever, who but WB Mason. So last half of the 7th inning. See if this winds up the last inning for Stephen Wright. Collins is 1 for 2 against him with a single and a strikeout. First pitch is low for ball 1. McCann on deck. And socked into the outfield for a base hit. Collins with his second single. Enjoy the Fenway experience with your group in 2017. Red Sox group outings are the perfect way to entertain your clients. Visit redsox.com/groups for more information.
A lot of signs putting down by the third base coach right here. It's a very low scoring ball game late in the game. You're working toward the bottom of the batting order, so I don't know. I'd be a little bit surprised at a sacrifice in this situation, but I wouldn't be surprised by some other type of play.
Here's McCann 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs. Nothing on the ground here. He torches that one deep to left, and she is gone. James McCann with a 2-run homer. That's going to make it straight uphill for the Red Sox here in Detroit this afternoon.
Now McCann picks up his first home run of the season, his first 2 RBI of the season. Kind of a line drive home run that made it over that fence out there in left field. He jumps on that first knuckleball, and it was a little bit flat. Stayed up in the zone above the belt. Got a good look at it, good swing at it, and he knew he had enough on contact.
Yeah, he didn't even really look up to see where it was going to land. A 2-run shot to make it 4-0 Tigers. Popped in the air by Jacoby Jones. And Dustin Pedroia will put that away in shallow right field. So 1 away in their 7th inning.
Yeah, I was thinking that home run, when this ballpark first opened, that would not have been a home run. Where the bullpen areas are right now, that was all in the field of play out there in left field. They shortened it up by putting the bullpens out there, and it's made a difference in this park. It was just gigantic when they first opened it up.
Still pretty big too. 420 to dead center. Saw Ben Taylor, the right-hander, loosening up in the Red Sox pen.
Well, you see that back wall there, and that was the home run wall.
Called strike on Iglesias, who's gone 0 for 2. He's hit into a double play and fly to center. Ben Taylor would be making his major league debut. Very high to left center field, but Benintendi and Bradley are there, and Jackie will make the play. 2 down. Here comes John Farrell. And he has made the call. So the day is done for Stephen Wright, who had been just about automatic on the road last year. Not the case here today. He leaves behind a 4-0 score. The Tigers in front. Will take the break and be back with more in just a moment. by T-Mobile. Only T-Mobile lets you stream, post, and share all things MLB. With T-Mobile One, unlimited data means unlimited baseball. In Detroit, that's all for Stephen Wright, giving up 4 runs in 6 2/3. And the Tigers, with the lead, will be facing a new pitcher in Ben Taylor. Right-handed for the Red Sox, 6'3", about 238 pounds. All minor league numbers. This is his big league debut. Out of Montgomery, Alabama. Came into the season ranked the Red Sox number 21 overall prospect. Pitched last year at Salem and Portland. Bases are empty for him with 2 down, and Kinsler the batter, and he fires in strike 1. Kinsler today with a single. He's also been hit by a pitch and fly to center. Seventh inning here in Detroit. Moments ago, James McCann lining a 2-run homer. And that doubled the Tiger lead. And a 1-2 pitch to Kinsler. And that one blew him away. Down he goes, strike 3. But 2 more runs on the board for the Tigers. They now lead it 4-0 as we go to the 8th. Honoring the 07 Red Sox World Championship season. It was game 3 of 07. The Red Sox would beat the Royals 4-1. Daisuke Matsuzaka pitched 7 innings. He allowed 1 run, 6 hits. He struck out 10.
Boy, remember the big hoopla when Daisuke came to Boston?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. He landed at Hanscom Field. And all kind of meteor around, following him in.
Yeah, he was supposed to have a pitch that nobody else threw.
Yeah, I didn't see it. The gyro ball.
Gyro ball, and he didn't throw it either.
No, he didn't.
That was the problem.
We heard he had. I was scared, you know, as an analyst, because they told me he had like 9 pitches. I said, how can this be possible?
Bruce Rondon coming out of their bullpen. That one fouled away by Dustin Pedroia here in the 8th inning. 6'3", about 275 pounds, Rondon from Venezuela. This is the 4th year in the bullpen for the Tigers. Dustin today 1 for 3 with a single. Down on a knee to get out of the way of that one. 2 balls, 1 strike.
That's a lot. Fastball at 97 miles an hour right there from Rondon. He pitched for Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic.
I thought Terry Francona and John Farrell did a great job with Daisuke, especially that first year. You know, there was the language issue, and there was the whole idea of how he would pitch and how he would, you know, go through treatment in between starts. It was difficult. It was very, very tough on everybody, including Daisuke. But he pitched for a world champion, won a lot of games for the Red Sox. Did he go? No, he did not. First base umpire Lane says no swing. A check by Pedroia. Count 3-2.
Yeah, I remember Daisuke had his own schedule that he was on between starts. A clear check right there by Pedroia. The Red Sox wanted him to switch to a more conventional between start, the routine that they have here in the States, and that was a big adjustment for him. Also the size of the baseball.
3-2 fly to center field. Jones with the catch. 1 man gone. Hood salutes the Red Sox Foundation, which serves the health, education, recreation, and social service. Thank you to the Red Sox Foundation for harnessing the passion of Red Sox fans to raise funds and awareness. Benintendi has walked, been hit by a pitch, and flied out to left. One of the things that was very challenging about Daisuke, of course, for everybody was the 3-ball counts, the 3-2 counts.
You could basically start the inning off by loading the bases with walks and then go from there.
And it seemed like he got out of it almost every time.
Yeah.
But it was the getting into it. It was tough to watch. Had to be tough on him too, but 3-2 is a big deal in Japanese baseball. I mean, that's the batter here. That's it. That's the moment of truth, the 3-2 count. So it's almost like he was getting into that count just to prove he could do it.
He was annoying.
That was annoying.
It was annoying.
I got to be honest with you. He did win a bunch of games, and he made his contribution to that 07 team, which was such a balanced ball club. The 3-0 pitch, and it is in there for a strike on Benintendi. Red Sox behind here 4-0. Sox had some early chances, did not capitalize. He pounds that one in there for a strike and a full count on Benintendi. Tigers got a run right away in the first inning off of Stephen Wright. Didn't score again until the 6th inning. And twice more on the home run in the 7th. (3-2). And he takes ball 4. Well, a good day for Benintendi. He's been on base 3 times now. Tonight at 10 on NESN Sports Today, a report from Bruins practice as they prepare to face the Capitals tomorrow night, plus a preview of the Celtics' next game against the Hornets. NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. Moreland still in search of that first Red Sox hit. He's 0 for 3 today. And for Mitch, his key moment came in the 3rd when the Red Sox loaded the bases with 2 down, but he struck out.
It's a conversation here where I guarantee, Iglesias say, look, got a 4-run lead. Let him make contact. We'll turn a double play over for you to get you out of the inning. Don't be walking guys.
One out and the 1-0 pitch. Runner goes. That is low and no throw by McCann. So Benintendi with a stolen base.
Yeah, he picks up his first of the season, and that was all on Rondon right there. I mean, he's very, very slow to the plate. So even down by 4 runs, that's a pretty much of a guarantee that you're going to get in scoring position with him on the mound.
He's also one of those guys who is in absolutely no hurry to deliver the baseball. And the 2-0. He drops in a strike. The attendance today in the Tigers home opener, it is a sellout, 45,013. We got to the ballpark here this morning. It was about 37 degrees.
It was cold. It was windy.
We were still tailgating. Grounded foul. It's up to 48 inside Comerica right now.
Actually, we're very lucky we got to the ballpark today because all the roads were blocked off around the stadium.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't know what to do. But we did get a prime parking spot.
We did, thanks to the efforts of our producer Jeff Mitchell.
Yeah, he was running around down there trying to find us a spot. It was amazing to watch a guy with that kind of quickness and speed and get us into a prime location.
2-2 downstairs. Of course, our car won't be there when we leave in an hour or so.
No, but we got through the barricades.
We towed somewhere. Three balls, 2 strikes on Moreland. Red Sox still trying to break through on the scoreboard. We're in the 8th inning, and it's 4-0 Detroit. Benintendi in scoring position. Toward right, a base hit. Charging on Collins. Benintendi will be held at third base with only 1 man out. And Moreland has his first Red Sox hit, a solid single to right field.
And one of the few times today that the ball has been down on Moreland. He tries a slider. And the slider gets slapped by Kinsler at second base. So Benintendi down by 4. He's going to stop right there, be held by Butterfield. And Moreland has been chasing a lot of high pitches, and that time it was a breaking ball that was down. And he makes good solid contact to pick up his first hit of the year.
So 1 for 4 here this afternoon. Runners on the corners for Chris Young. Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, out to talk with Rondon. Sunday, it's an all-new episode of Nesson Clubhouse. Chris Sale makes his debut on Red Sox Small Talk. Plus, we'll see if it's possible to program a robot to throw a baseball. It's Sunday at 11:30 on Nesson Clubhouse, presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts. Yeah, Red Sox starting to make a little bit of noise here in the 8th inning. A walk, a stolen base, a single brings up Young. He's 1 for 3 with a base hit back in the 4th inning. Right now 4-0 Tigers. And that'll be ball 1. Alex Wilson and Francisco Rodriguez are throwing in the bullpen now for Detroit behind a left field fence. In for a strike. Chris today getting the nod in right field with Mookie Betts still battling flu-like symptoms. Here's the 1-1. Stopped by McCann. Jackie Bradley on deck. Red Sox missing a big chunk of their run producing lineup, and it has shown today with only 5 hits. That'd be inside. So a good count for Young here now, 3-1.
Yeah, this has been pretty ugly for Rondon. You know, you come in with a 4-0 lead and everything's going your way, and he's walking guys, giving up a stolen base, a base hit, falling behind.
Benintendi at third and Moreland at first, and the 3-1. He takes a strike.
He's in love with that slider, isn't he?
Yes.
No fastball in the 3-1 count that time. Back to the slider.
So what do you look for here on 3-2 if you're Chris Young? Payoff pitch. Line shot. That's a fair ball down the line. Benintendi is in to score. Here comes Moreland into third base, down to second base. Young as he torches a double, and the Red Sox are on the scoreboard for the first time. Also have runners at second and third.
Yeah, I just don't get it. You know, I just don't understand what Rondon is doing. I mean, he's got the comfortable lead. He's going to this breaking ball all the time when he can throw up in the mid-90s. And that time Young picking up that base hit down, the double down the left field line. So the Red Sox finally do get on the scoreboard and get a chance to bring the tying run to the plate. That was not a good outing at all by Rondon.
Rondon is done, and Wilson is coming out of the bullpen. We'll take the break and be back with more right after this. Yes. Red Sox trying to rally here. And against the guy who used to pitch for the Red Sox. Coming on next, Alex Wilson. Pitched for the Sox in 13 and 14. And was acquired by the Tigers along with Cespedes in exchange for Rick Porcello in 2014. Here's Jackie Bradley, 0 for 3 today, but now he has runners at second and third and only 1 down.
He might have crossed up his catcher a little bit. You get a man at second base. Sometimes those relief pitches come in and not realizing there's a man at second base. McCann goes into a multiple set of signs and doesn't get the pitch that he expects. So go out and get that straightened out.
Jackie's fly to center and right. He's also popped to second on the day. 4-1 Detroit here in the 8th. Base hit. Moreland is in. Young into third, and the Red Sox have suddenly cut that lead in half on a sharp base hit by Jackie Bradley. That is 3 consecutive hits.
Yeah, Bradley has really swung the bat well today. He's made good solid contact. Looking that ball down to the right side. Again, you know, safety first. Ball gets to the outfield very quickly. You don't want to take the chance of having the man thrown out at home. So the inning continues for Boston.
Well, it started with the Benintendi walk and then a stolen base with 1 down. Moreland single. Young with the double. Jackie Bradley with the RBI single. And now Sandy Leon trying to keep that line moving.
Dave, we kind of hit on this beginning of the broadcast where, you know, the bullpen for the Tigers is a little suspect.
Keith Hembry now loosening in the Red Sox pen. Only 1 man out. Sandy twice has hit the ball right to the second baseman for 1 out. He did it again for double play in the 4th inning. So he's 0 for 3. Chris Young at third, Jackie Bradley at first, and the 2-0. He looks at a strike. It's now even at 7. Sandoval on deck. Wilson taking his time to deliver it. Here's the 2-1. First to throw to first base and a dive back in by Jackie Bradley. Tomorrow, game 2 of this series at 1:10. Eduardo Rodriguez against Jordan Zimmerman. All 4 games here, the exact same start time of 1:10. Base hit here by Sandy would make it 4 consecutive Red Sox hits. In the top of the 8th, 2 runs in. Two and 2 on Leon. Wilson with a long look in, takes a sign. Now he'll step off.
Very concerned about Bradley at first base. He's thrown over there a couple of times, stepping off, trying to do everything to take any rhythm away from Jackie at first base for a possible steal. It would be a bit of a gamble, but you know, Wilson's not very quick to home plate either.
Runner holding, and he missed away. Now 3 and 2.
Here's the challenge now. Do you send the runner at first base? One thing you don't want is to strike him out, throw him out to end the inning, but I'm going to say that he goes.
Wilson set, runner holding, and he got him. He struck him out.
That's a good thing he did not go, because it probably would have been a strike him out, throw him out with the arm of McCann.
And Osmus coming out.
Kept the fastball away from him that time, and well, borderline pitch, but one that you almost have to swing at. You can't leave that in the hands of the umpire.
So Osmus is going to make another pitching change. That does it for Wilson. And he'll go into the bullpen for the 4th time here in the last couple of innings. 1st and 3rd for the Red Sox. K-Rod coming out of their pen. 4-2 Tigers. More in a moment. Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, and Garen Austin with you here. Top half of the 8th inning. Red Sox now with 2 down and 2 men aboard. Will be taking on the ancient right-hander Francisco Rodriguez, who's been pitching in the big leagues since 2002. That with the Angels. He's also pitched for the Mets, Milwaukee, Baltimore, and now the Tigers. And last year piled up 44 saves. Sandoval trying to spoil him here with runners at 1st and 3rd. Pablo today 1 for 3 with a double. Sox have pulled it in 2 runs here in the 8th. And Ausmus brings on his closer. And the first one in there for strike 1. There was a time he threw very hard. He no longer does.
No, right now, one of his best pitches is his changeup, and that's what he featured right there to Sandoval on the first pitch. 83.
It reminds me in that regard of Trevor Hoffman, who became a great closer with the San Diego Padres. One time threw about 96. Most of his career, though, it was the changeup that was deadly. Quickly 0-2.
And you can see what it does to the fastball. I mean, that fastball was only 88. But when he throws so many changeups the way it does, that fastball, all of a sudden, that's 88, maybe looks 94 to the hitter. Keeping it away from Pablo.
Young at 3rd, Jackie Bradley at 1st. 2 down and 2 strikes on Sandoval. High fly ball, that's well hit. Upton's racing back. Gone! How about the Panda? He touches them all here for a 3-run shot. And a shocker on opening day in Detroit. Pablo Sandoval with a bomb to left center field. And the Boston Red Sox have taken the lead.
You know, Dave, we always talk about Sandoval being a bad ball hitter. Well, this pitch was up. It appeared to be out of the strike zone, and Sandoval just goes with it to the opposite field in a very deep left field for the home run. So how about this inning for Boston?
Goodness. It didn't feel like this kind of an inning, Jerry.
No, this felt like a dead offensive game for the Red Sox.
Wow. And one of the deeper parts of the ballpark, he just launched it out of here, and the Red Sox lead it 5-4.
I mean, look at the location of that pitch. It's up, it's on the outside part of the plate, and Sandoval to a very deep part of the ballpark for the home run.
Marco Hernandez here. Boy, it started so innocently, this rally. Benintendi with the walk with one down. But then the Red Sox started chipping away against a series of relievers. Moreland with a base hit, Young with a double, Jackie Bradley with the single. Then Leon struck out before Pablo Sandoval jumped on that for a 3-run homer off of K-Rod. And shockingly, the Red Sox have the lead in the 8th inning by scoring 5 times, the only runs they have in the game.
You know, the key, one of the keys in this inning, well, the key obviously is the Sandoval home run, but I think Moreland picking up his first base hit to keep things going in this inning.
Hernandez is 0 for 3. He's grounded out, flied out, popped up. Boy, an eerie quiet settling over Comerica Park.
That's almost like everybody's shocked.
Sandoval put some swing on. You're right about the Moreland hit. That was huge. Didn't feel like it at the time, though. The Red Sox in front 5-4.
You know, the reason I say it's big is because it kept things going. You know, you had a base runner. You got a stolen base. Then you get the base hit by Moreland. It keeps the line moving a little bit. Young with the hit. Bradley with the hit.
The 2-2 from Rodriguez. Popped him up. Racing out Kinsler. Coming on the center fielder, and a nice grab by Iglesias. He made the catch. However, nobody could get to the Panda shot. A mammoth 3-run homer to put the Red Sox in the lead here in Detroit. Through 6. Message and data rates may apply. And Jerry, you've been on alert all day about this Tiger bullpen, and Pablo Sandoval just took big-time advantage of that.
Yeah, he really did. And you know, this game, when you get down to the later innings like that, you get a controlling 4-0 lead against a depleted lineup. Your bullpen's got to be able to shut that down, and we've highlighted since the beginning that one of the sore spots on this ball club is their bullpen. It's proven out in this game today.
Red Sox with a 5-run rally in the top of this 8th inning. Back to that home run swing, driven to the opposite field with authority.
You know, it's interesting when you watch Pablo hit, the high fastball that's out over the plate or inside is tough for him to make contact on, but the one that's away, he can make contact on it and hit it a long way.
Heath Hembree coming out of the Red Sox bullpen, the all-important 8th now. to bridge it to Kimbrel. And a very tough part of the Detroit lineup. And it's an outstanding lineup. Castellanos has already tripled and scored. And then it's Cabrera and then Victor Martinez, who's driven in a couple of runs today. And he fires in a strike to make it 0-2.
Castellanos didn't like that call, but that was a great pitch by Hembree. Low and away, outside part of the plate, dotting the corner. Watch the location of this pitch. Not a good pitch to hit by any means, but certainly a strike.
Castellanos with home run power into the dirt. Hit 18 last year. Cabrera on deck hit 38. Victor Martinez after him 27. So you've got to be very, very careful. A one-run lead here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Red Sox trying to spoil the home opener of the Tigers. For most of the day, it looked like it was going to be just a celebration for Detroit. Sandoval crashed the party. Foul back. But really, that was a collective effort there in that 8th inning. Stay tuned for Red Sox Final, presented by Plainridge Park Casino. TC and Steve Lyons will recap Stephen Wright's season debut and preview Rodriguez' start tomorrow. One ball and 2 strikes on Castellanos. Foul away again. Detroit has Shane Green in their bullpen active. Saw some of the Tiger announcers as Sandoval was rounding the bases, rolling their eyes like we've seen this before. 1-2. And that one just missed. Home plate umpire Mike Estabrook almost rang him up there.
And I don't blame him. That was a pretty good pitch.
2-2.
I mean, this ball had some of the outside corner. There's no question about that. Pulled in just a little bit by Sandy Leon.
Embry looking for the K. Doesn't get it there. Now 3-2. Castellanos with a fairly lengthy at bat here at the bottom of the 8th inning. 5-4 Red Sox. Miguel Cabrera on deck. The 3-2. Swung on and missed. He got him. He got him to go after a pitch way downstairs, and he whiffed him.
Yeah, he fooled him that time. He threw him the slider on the 3-2 count, not expecting that at all. He thought that was going to be another one of those outside corner fastballs. Instead, more of a cut fastball or slider that time at 90 miles an hour to get the strikeout.
Yeah, on the next Charlie Moore Outdoors, Charlie travels to Portland, Maine to meet up with comedian and actor Bob Marley. Charlie and Bob catching up. And catching some bass as well. Tune in tomorrow night at 7 for Charlie Moore Outdoors on Essen. One away for Cabrera. Batting with the bases empty. A pretty quiet day. He's flied out twice, and he's also been intentionally walked. Carl Willis on the horn to the Red Sox pen. And 1-0. That'll miss.
Red Sox shake Cabrera to the opposite field. One of the best opposite field hitters in all of baseball. Actually can go line to line. I mean, there's no question about that. But he can move that ball with authority the other way.
Outfield deep in all 3 spots. Here's the 2-0. Slicer foul. Stephen Wright got the start today. Stephen, no decision. 6 2/3. 4 runs, 7 hits. Bobby Stott, the left-hander in the Sox bullpen. The 2-1. Tell you what, if Hembree can get through this, or at least the first 2 batters, we'll see how deep he goes, but this part of the order,
Yeah.
not only guys who can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but really smart hitters who really work a pitcher. Could be the key to a victory today. Long way to go yet, but in the 8th inning, the Red Sox are on top, shockingly, 5-4. And the 2-2 to Cabrera. Fouled off. Last year, Cabrera batted .316. It's the 8th consecutive year he's hit .313 or better. Incredible consistency. The 2-2 from Hembree. Spoiled another one. Very sunny, bright day here in downtown Detroit. Hembree again. Cut on and missed out. He goes strike 3. Boy, he has fanned 2 tough hitters.
Oh, is that smart pitching? I mean, if you look at that whole sequence of pitches, everything to Cabrera was away, so he's thinking out there, and now he throws him that little slider or cutter to the inside part of the plate. Look at the first number of pitches on there. They're all away from Cabrera, and then he fools him on a pitch that's on the inside part of the plate.
2 up, 2 down. Hembree now goes after Victor Martinez. He has a sac fly for an RBI. He's also driven in another run with a single. First one to the backstop for ball 1. Red Sox shifting on him with Pedroia in short right field. Red Sox have come from behind to take the lead late with a 5-run 8th inning. And a strike. Bases are empty with 2 down. Hembree trying to make it a 1-2-3 inning. And that's a strike.
That's nasty. Down, outside part of the plate. Great location here by Hembree.
Joe Kelly is also up now with Robbie Scott in the bullpen. The bullpen was really terrific the other night with 5 scoreless innings in the victory over the Pirates. 1-2. Check to swing. Even now on Victor Martinez. Upton would be next. And we're trying to make sure he never gets to the plate. He's also trying to strike out the side. And a 2-2. Left it downstairs to fill up the count. You've got to throw Victor Martinez strikes. Red Sox fans know that very well. He will almost never come out of the strike zone. The count is full. 2 down, nobody on base. Red Sox up a run in the 8th.
Stay away from him.
Just got a piece of it to stay in there.
Sandy Leon wanted that breaking ball to the outside part of the plate. It did stay inside, but fortunately Martinez just fouled it off. A little conversation here about the location of that last pitch and what they want to do now on the 3-2 count. I'm sure they're both thinking on the same page.
And if he walks him, there's a home run threat coming up in Upton. Remember, he's already struck out Castellanos and Cabrera. Now the 3-2. Bounding ball and a foul ball. And they'll do it again on 3-2. Boy, for the longest time today, it looked like, without question, it was going to be the Tigers' day. It's not done yet. Still just a one-run game, but the fact the Red Sox have the lead has stunned the Tiger fans. Martinez ready again on the left side. Here comes the 3-2 from Hembree. Spoiled again. Well, Hembree had to pitch to fan Castellanos. He had to pitch to fan the great Cabrera. Does he have one for Victor Martinez?
He's been trying to get him with that breaking ball, and Martinez just able to foul off pitch after pitch. Back to the fastball.
And he just missed with it for ball 4, so they walked him. Martinez is on. Upton is next. Be sure to download the entire Red Sox schedule directly into your favorite calendar program today. Visit NESN.com/schedule. So Martinez doing his job. He reaches base. Andrew Romine will run for him at first. But Martinez now out of the game. 2 RBIs for Victor today. None for Upton. He has walked, struck out, and also bounded into a double play that hit into 3 of them. 2 out here. And the first one in there for strike 1. Another tough pitch right at the knee. Red Sox up 5-4, 8th inning. And the 0-1 from Hembree. You wouldn't chase it. On Saturday, Eduardo Rodriguez will go for the Sox. On Sunday, Rick Porcello. And on Monday, Chris Sale. All here in Detroit. The 1-1 to Upton. Oh, he took a cut there. 1-2.
Hembree getting it up there about 94 miles an hour with that fastball. But it was a lot of breaking balls to Cabrera, a lot of breaking balls to Martinez. But now a lot of fastballs in this situation to Upton. Got him set up for the breaking ball.
Upton is a guy who strikes out a lot, 179 times last year. And a dive back by Romine.
Most of the time when you're watching at home and you see a catcher put the sign down and put that little flip of the thumb, that means a throw to first base. Gonna be the slider.
1-2 pitch. Even on Upton. This is one of the most difficult middle parts of the order in all of Major League Baseball. But Hembree is one strike away from getting through it and getting the Red Sox up to bat in the 9th inning, ahead by a run. Upton also hit 31 homers last year. 2-2. Ball 3.
Didn't miss by very much. Once again going to the slider. Now, of course, the runner at first base will be off on contact. Anything in a gap, he's got a chance to score from first base.
And now this big crowd of 45,000 was knocked sideways by the Sandoval home run. They've been quiet since then. They're up now. 3-2 runner goes. And it is inside. He walked him. Back-to-back ball 4s. And the Tigers now have the tying run down at second base.
Now let's see if Farrell comes out and goes to the left-hander. Left-hander due up. Collins. And here comes Farrell.
So it'll be Robbie Scott coming on to square off against Collins. If in fact they stick with Collins. But Scott is coming on. Hembree started out with 2 strikeouts, but then back-to-back walks. And we'll take the break. 8th inning, 5-4 Boston. More in a moment. And walked a couple. Tomorrow morning on an all-new dining playbook, Billy and Jenny are at Cask and Flagon to celebrate Red Sox opening week. We saw them there yesterday. Dining playbook on Nesson, driven by New England Chevy dealers. They were filming that episode when we went for lunch. And they said, just keep moving along. There's nothing to see here. We're not buying your lunch.
Yeah, we bought it in and we ruined the whole shoot there for a second.
We ruined the take. First and second, and Robbie Scott coming out of the bullpen. The left-hander will not face Collins. Mikey Mottook instead will hit for him. So Osmus counters the Red Sox move to go to the bullpen. Mottook used to be with Tampa Bay. And he has a chance to be a hero today. After the walks to Martinez and Upton. And giving the Tigers an opportunity here. Red Sox on top 5-4. In stunning fashion, a 5-run top of the 8th inning and the Sandoval 3-run homer. But now that slender lead is in jeopardy. And the lefty's first one to Mottook will not be made. Romine at second. He came on to run for Victor Martinez, representing the tying run. Upton at first base. And the first one across for strike one at 89. Scott, the third reliever used today by John Farrell. Stephen Wright went 6 2/3 to start it. No decision for Stephen. Swung on and foul, tipped to the mitt quickly, 0-2.
That's what Robbie Scott will do. He'll give you different looks. You know, he'll throw over the top. He'll come drop down to the side. That time he drops down to the side with the fastball.
So Matuk in the hole. The Sox pen trying to hold. Here's the 0-2 pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And now Sandy Leon out for a visit. Sandy caught every inning of the 12-inning marathon, went almost 4 hours the other night against the Pirates, and then walked it off with the 3-run blast into the monster seats. Christian Vasquez should get the catch tomorrow of Eduardo Rodriguez in another day game here in Detroit. They lead away at first and second. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Line shot in the left. Benintendi giving chase. In to score Romine. Upton stopping at third base, into second base. Matuk off the bench with a double. Second and third for the Tigers, and they've tied up the ball game.
Well, this time he goes to the breaking ball. It had been fastballs on the first 2 pitches. Then the breaking ball speeds up the bat right there of Matuk, and he's able to hook it right down the line. Now Benintendi had a good job getting that, because if it gets by him, the go-ahead run scores.
And John Farrell back out to the hill, trying to find someone who can pin down the 3rd out here in the 8th inning. And it wasn't Scott. He has to go back to the pen and bring on Joe Kelly. And that with runners at second and third. Tied 5-5 here in the 8th inning, and more coming up in just a moment. Presented by Joseph Abboud. It's available at Men's Warehouse. TC and Steve Lyons will preview Game 2 of the Red Sox-Tigers series. Detroit has tied it on an RBI double from the pinch hitter Mikey Matuk. John Farrell goes back to the pen, and it's Joe Kelly now, but with runners at second and third here in the bottom of the 8th. They'll be facing McCann, who ripped a 2-run homer in the 7th inning. Joe got the win on Wednesday night against the Pirates, so he extended his active Major League leading winning streak to 13. And one of the 2 walks by Hembree just came in to score. 2 down. And that'll be ball 1.
Now McCann back in the 7th inning, the 2-run shot off Stephen Wright. Have a line drive home run. And at that point, the game looked like it was probably out of reach for the Red Sox.
Put the Sox down 4-0. They rallied to score 5 times in the top of this inning, but now tied 5-5. Fastball overthrown a bit there to count 2-0 on McCann. Two for 3 against Joe in his career. Red Sox trying to hang on. Kelly trying to get out of it. Swing and a miss. 2-1.
Fools him with the slider on the 2-0 count. McCann sitting all over fastball. And Kelly, of course, can get it up there about 98 miles an hour, but he drops the slider on him.
Runners lead at 2nd and 3rd. Here comes the 2-1. Embry struck out the first 2 Tigers in the inning, but Victor Martinez worked him for a walk. Upton took ball 4. Matuk hitting for Collins, scalded a double to drive in the tying run. Now it's 3-1 to McCann. And he walked him, so the bases are loaded. The Red Sox bullpen has walked 3 men here in the 8th. So now there is no place to put Jacoby Jones, the young center fielder. On the day, 1 for 3 with a base hit. So it is Upton at 3rd base, Matuk at 2nd, McCann at 1st. And Kelly must throw strikes. He goes after the very first pitch on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball and just got a piece of it. 0-1.
Here's the pitch by Kelly. First pitch, 99 inside part of the plate, and a little bit of an inside-out swing that time.
Jones, the rookie from Chickasha, Oklahoma. Made his big league debut last year, trying to be a hero today. A ball, a strike on Jacoby Jones. A sellout here in Detroit in their home opener. And this one has gone back and forth. Kelly with a 1-1. Off the plate. Bases loaded for Detroit. Upton, Matuk, McCann. He wails and misses. A 90-mile-an-hour pitch, 2-2.
Yeah, it seems like when Kelly really needs a strike, he's going to that breaking ball to get it.
Two and two. 2 down. Here comes. Well, the string is out. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And everybody on the move here. 3-2, 2 outs. Tried the breaking ball again, but missed outside. This crowd all on their feet.
Upton, Mata, McCann. 3-2, 2 down. And Leon out to the hill.
What they'll probably do is decide on a pitch. I don't think that when he gets back, Leon will even put down a sign. He'll just know what they want to throw.
This is the 5th full count among the last 6 hitters. Here's the 3-2 to Jones. Foul back to the screen. Red Sox staff also with 3 2-out walks. Pops out of the mitt on ball 4 as the run comes in to score, and the Tigers have taken the lead.
Well, we talked about the Tiger bullpen, and now it's the Red Sox bullpen having big time trouble. 4 walks in this inning here in the 8th inning. That last pitch, I'm not sure what that was. I think it was a breaking ball at 89 miles an hour. It was. And deflects off the glove of Leon. Yeah, he tried to drop the breaking ball on him and was not even close.
So a bases loaded walk of Jacoby Jones has delivered the Tigers the lead again. Now on top 6-5. Bases reloaded for Iglesias. And the Sox pen sputtering big time here in the 8th inning. So Detroit back in front. Iglesias has gone 0 for 3. Tigers 6 runs on 8 hits, but really taking advantage of ball 4 in a major way in the 8th inning. Reloaded for the number 9 hitter. And he looks at strike 1.
I'll tell you what, if I was Iglesias, I'd look down at third base and see where Sandoval's playing, and I'd drop a bunt down the third base line, try to get another run. I mean, he's way back.
Mottuk now at third, McCann to second, Jones at first. 2 down in the 0-1 pitch. On the infield, Pedroia. Force out retires the side. However, the Tigers come back. They score twice. We go to the 9th inning in Detroit. Tigers leading it 6-5. inning. Wright went 6 2/3 to start as Sandoval had a huge home run to put the Red Sox in the lead, which was a shocker at the time. Mott took, though, the pinch hit RBI double in the clutch. Biggest part of the story, though, and to come back for the Tigers last inning, was all the Red Sox walks, Jerry.
Yeah, and it started off very good for the Red Sox. 2 strikeouts in a row, Castellanos and Cabrera, and it looked very good at that point, but then the walks. Back-to-back walks. Martinez with a very tough at bat, the walk to Upton, the double back-to-back walks again.
Rodriguez back to the mound now after he coughed up the lead last inning. Has a chance to lock it down now. Selski is second at bat here today. He struck out in the 7th inning. 6-5 Detroit as they try and win their home opener. They were winning it. Then it looked like they had lost it. Now they're back in front. Red Sox issuing 4 2-out walks. And the ball on Selski. Pedroia on deck. And then Benintendi. Not many have left here. Of the 45,000 we tallied. He gave it a shot at Mott. Took staying in the game to play right field for Detroit. And they have Shane Green up in case in their bullpen. Red Sox in the 8th inning rallied for 5 runs to take the lead. It's going to be ball 3. Sox were down 4-0. Sandoval the big blow, but now the Red Sox have to come from behind again. 3-2.
That's what he relies on, that changeup. 3-1 count, goes to the changeup, and off balance swing. Looks like another changeup.
Steve Selski comes from a family of great volleyball players. In fact, his mom was an Olympian in Southern California.
Another changeup.
Softly hit. Cabrera off the bag. The underhand flip was in time. So 1 down in the Red Sox 9th. And the send up goes to Pedroia. He's got 1 for 4 today. A base hit in the 3rd inning. Benintendi will follow. Benintendi's actually been on base 3 times this afternoon without the benefit of a hit.
He got things started with a walk back in the 8th inning.
Late inning walks have been the key in this game for both teams. Red Sox have left 7 on base. The Tigers have stranded 6. Sox in dire need of a base runner here in the 9th. And K-Rod with a 1-0 pitch. Skipped it. 2-0. If you're just joining us, the Red Sox playing without Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, and Hanley Ramirez today. Betts and Ramirez out with flu symptoms. Bogaerts on bereavement leave. Several other Red Sox are either sick or not with the team at the moment. Fighting here in Detroit. And that's in there for a called strike. hits for Boston, 8 hits for the Tigers. And each side with a home run. Here comes the 2-1. 2-2 on Petey. And not thrilled with that call from Estabrook.
Back to the fastball at about 86, 87 miles an hour on the outside part of the plate, and just barely picking up the corner. The third and fourth pitch, just about in identical spots.
Rodriguez with a 2-2. High chop on the infield. Castellanos tried to barehand, knocked it down, and can't make a play. And Pedroia is safe at first base.
You know, you wonder, you watch that play and you wonder if he had time to go with the glove and make the throw to first base. He tried to barehand it. You can see how deep he is. I kind of get that. The way the ball kind of carried him back to his throwing hand right there. You see that last bounce spinning away from him, and if he has to go to the backhand, he's got no chance anyway. So he really did the only thing that he could possibly do.
So that'll be a base hit for Pedroia. He has 2 hits today. That'll send up Benintendi, who has walked twice and been hit by a pitch. And he'll lay off low for ball 1. That didn't miss by much.
I'd like to see Benintendi get one of those flat changeups and just take it right out of here.
This is the ballpark where he hit his first major league home run last year. And his first triple in the same game. A strike. Back to that changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sox have the tying run on base in the 9th inning with 1 down. Moreland on deck.
Here comes the flat changeup, Dave.
Popped him up into left. Upton. He's there to make the catch, and they're 2 down. So Moreland will be the batter on the day. 1 for 4. Got his first Red Sox hit in the 8th inning. It was a key hit in keeping that rally alive. But the Red Sox scored 5 times. Red Sox took a 5-4 lead. Now trailing 6-5. With Dustin Pedroia at first base. Overshift on that right side. And time is granted.
I think that sign that they put down there, the split fingers were to throw to first base, and Rodriguez stepped off. Back to the changeup.
Line shot. Base hit down the line. Pedroia rounding second, on his way to third. Moreland is second base and stops there. And the Red Sox aren't done yet. Moreland coming through second and third for Boston.
Now Moreland last 2 times up, picking up his first 2 hits of the year, was on a breaking ball in the 8th inning. This time it's the changeup that stays inside. And what a play by Matuk out there in right field, because he had to go a long way, and if he does not get to it, Pedroia scores. I mean, you got to give credit to Matuk out there in right field for covering that ground and not allowing that ball to get to the wall. Oh, we get another tie ball game. How far he has to go for this? It's right on the line. Spins around and quickly gets it back in toward the infield.
He also has an RBI double that has put them in the lead here. He's had a fine afternoon, but here comes Chris Young. Chris has 2 hits, 2 for 4, a single and a double today. He takes a strike. A veteran against veteran battle. And the Red Sox had the tying run 90 feet away here in the 9th, and the go-ahead run at second. These last couple innings have been wild. 2 down, and the 0-1 pitch. Check swing, and that's a strike. That 88-mile-an-hour four-seamer. So Young is in the hole, 0-2.
In his prime, that 88 miles an hour fastball used to be a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
McCann coming out again. Just about everybody in the ballpark on their feet. Tigers 6, Red Sox 5. Top of the 9th, 2 down, 2 men in scoring position. Rodriguez from the set. Line but foul. He was a bit too quick.
He tried to sneak a fastball by him inside, and Young was all over it. Want to go inside. It's a fastball at 87, but golfed out of there in foul territory by Chris Young.
Red Sox trying to rally for the second time late in this game. The 0-2 again. And he missed with it. 1-2. Looking for his first hit against K-Rod. And it's been tough for Chris to make contact against him. Pedroia at third. Moreland at second. The 1-2. Popped him up. First baseman Cabrera near the bag, and that ices it as the Tigers win their home opener. Back and forth it went late, 6-5 the final. In 3 hours and 35 minutes in front of 45,013. Here's your final score. The Tigers hang on and beat the Sox. The Red Sox first loss of the young season, 6-5. TC?